Welcome to episode 4 of Nisemonogatari. Last time we were introduced to Kaikki. Araragi broke out of his chains in a pretty badass way. Hanekawa called Senjogahara, so I want to see where it goes from here now that things are sort of in motion. We're going to watch and discuss the episode with the subtitles and the timer on the screen if you want to follow along like that. Or you can pull up the episode on the side, but either way, let's get into it. In 3, 2, 1, play. So, okay, here we go with some heavy music right at the start. So they're fine. They're not in immediate danger or anything. They're going to fill him in on the details. What did happen? Well, that's not helpful. He still has his handcuffs on. Oh, it's Hanekawa's here. Oh. Anyway, that was surprising. That was the biggest twist of the whole show. Wow. I got real confused there for a second. There were like some misfires in my brain happening there. I was like, hit, momentary malfunction. Must pay attention for reaction. What the hell happened there? That was unexpected. Alright. Is that your way of stinging like a bee with your teeth? Alright, they asked her for help. That looks so bizarre after... I'll have to get used to the short hair. Well, that's nice of you. And by the way, I was absolutely correct that her boobs were way bigger in Kizu. They really amped those babies up. I'd like to know. Okay, we'll just go do that then. Yeah, he sure does. I have to say, as of right now, I prefer the longer hair. Also, the glasses. That's the weirdest part, actually. I was so focused on the hair, I didn't even think of the glasses until now. I'm like, who the hell are you? Where's Hanekawa? I like the glasses look, typically. And it's kind of weird looking at her like that. Sure. Is that right? Is that why... That's why justice always prevails? Because whatever prevails gets to declare itself to be justice because it was strong? Is that what you're saying? So you can't really be a defender of justice if you're not strong enough to actually go through with it? So yeah, what the Hanekawa, like, seriously, when it panned up to her, I had there was a moment in my brain where just my life flashed before my eyes, where I was like, wait, what? What's happening? Stay on focus. Stay composed. But yeah, I wasn't even, like, I knew obviously something was off. Because she looked so different, and I focused in on the hair, only then later realized, oh yeah, the glasses. And yeah, just putting the glasses back on would make a huge difference, but I have to say I prefer the old look of long hair and glasses. Glasses back on would help, but I like the old hair too. We'll see if I get used to it. It's new, so, you know, it'll take a little bit, but it was surprising. But for now, while the OP is playing, let me say that if you enjoy these videos, subscribe to the channel. Nisemonogatari comes out every Saturday, with other videos every single day of the week. Also, check out the description down below for links to Twitter and Discord if you want to hang out there, and Patreon if you want to support this channel, get these videos early, vote in polls for what shows I watch, and get vlogs that'll never be on YouTube. Thank you so much. I have to say all that stuff, because people comment all the time, like, wondering how people watch the videos early, even though I say that in every single video. So I gotta say it. Karen B, Part 4. It's a banana hammock. More desperate? Well, they are his sisters. A little bit of projection going on. He seems to have that in spades a bit. So it's just like a banana rocking thing. Anyway. Oops. You fucked up, boy. She called you out. Okay. Good cover. Has she questioned the handcuffs? Seriously, though, you need to, like, tell him what's going on. It might be important. Yeah, which I guess came from Kaikki. That's them. Correct. This boy can't go 2 damn seconds without being teased in the middle of trying to talk about more serious shit. Yep. There were other victims? Okay, so nothing as crazy as what happened to her, but other effects happened. But why? To what ends? All right, so you've been in this for a little bit. That's why you were busy. Whoa. Too competent. Mm-hmm. Sure. What was done to her? She was by herself. Hanekawa hasn't met him yet. Would you have been able to? I don't know what happened. I'd say ominous is accurate. Did the sky turn red? Okay, sure, just... What happened to Karin, though? Like, I still need more details. But let's take a bath. That's good. Yeah, we didn't hear her end exactly. Really? I guess it's not out of the ordinary to think Senjugahara would do that. Well then. I'll have to go back and listen to exactly what Senjugahara said. Whoa, hello. Interesting that that's what she said that affected her so much. And now Shinobu's here. Hi. Now? Has he not before? You didn't speak much in Bake. That's for sure, if at all. I'm a Monogatari character. Of course I am. Whoa, there's a nipple. Okay. It wasn't colored, but, like, they drew it. But you got fan service with him, too. He's also naked. So it's equal. Yeah, they're right there. Holy shit. That's interesting. Does she have the Band-Aid on? That's quite an unnecessary flip, but sure. Alright, nice. Help him accessorize properly. And it's not a donut. Well, good that it did then. Just so happened to. Hair. Yeah? It's there. Well, what a fucking treat. What a reward. Allowing him to wash your hair. Oh, yes. Touch away. Oh, shit. Not just shampoo. You get the conditioner, too. You get the full package. Not that package, though. I do have a girlfriend. Alright, if that's what you've decided. Being able to touch your hair? Or what you were thinking about? Yeah, she was actually giving it thought. Okay. What? I don't know what that is. What is happening? If you say so. I didn't expect her to show up so suddenly. Okay, so we've got a hornet-related oddity. Karen B, of course. Giant. I don't know if she's giant. How selfish of him. I had to listen to his inane banter. That's how she learned about it. What does it do? Okay, I don't know what that is. Sounds bad. So it's a sickness. Genuinely. Well, shit. The Fire Sisters, indeed. So, what do we do to get rid of that? Yeah. How long do we have? I don't know about had it coming. I mean, she certainly chose to go after him, and, it is quite a difference. But yeah, she chose to go after him. So, she's facing the consequences for those actions. But I think that's a little harsh wording. So she said he may have. Yeah, he may have actual knowledge of oddities and all of this stuff. Just might not have been able to deal with her issue, or maybe he could and he chose not to. Having actual knowledge of the subject would help you be a better con man. What is he? I see. Uh, I don't think it'd be that simple. This whole episode is them in the bath. Yeah, you gotta get the cause. So even if she gets the hornet, which she could, she can't take away the illness that's already there. I see. Just in the bath with him. Why not? He was fucking long winded. I wasn't listening. Holy shit. Apparently, your ass. I mean, Yes. Okay. But what if? Well, what if you did? That's a fair enough tribute. Donuts aren't that unreasonable. How did the donut thing start? That is like the one question I wanted answered in Key 2. Where did the donut thing come from? What do you think of that? Okay, just close the door and leave. It's a very tame reaction for now, but what is she thinking? Okay, she came back. Girl. Oh shit, she brought a fucking knife. I didn't know what she was doing. Like, okay, she left, but, is she gonna go have a tantrum somewhere? She went to go get a goddamn knife. That's... I think thou doth protest too much, good sir. And a shield. Wow, she went to get her battle gear. That's actually terrifying. Oh, she has an egg in her hair, too. So yeah, watch out for her. That's quite unnerving. Was she gonna kill him or the girl? Or both? I don't know. What? Yeah? So how long would he live? Good question, actually. I never really thought about that. I don't know if he has either. I don't really see any reason why you'd think so. That's true, though. Because he's mostly human, so you would think, like, at the most, he might live, like, a little longer than humans. But it's true that he has the regeneration, so actually that may be one point of vampirism that is kind of stuck with him. A longer life. I never really thought about it, and I don't think he has either. So, shit. And I mean, I don't know if we'll ever, like, have any kind of answer to that, because I don't know what kind of time period all of Monogatari takes place over. But that might be something he'll have to worry about now. Like, well, shit. They might all die around me. I'll be left with just you. Still trying to die? For his sake? We sure do. I mean, he would heal. I didn't expect such a long Shinobu scene in the middle of all this, but that's cool. So anyway, let's talk about that episode. Alright, episode 4, we get to see Shinobu and Hanekawa. Quite a long scene with Shinobu as well, which was surprising. I didn't expect her to just show up like that and then take up most of the episode. And Hanekawa looks like an entirely different person. If we hadn't had that line before it panned up and showed her where she said something about her father hitting her, that line told me, oh, it's Hanekawa, cool, she's here, we get to see her, and then it pans up and I'm like, huh, what? Honestly, if that line hadn't been there, I wouldn't have known who that was. Maybe I would have recognized the voice, but I don't know if I know the voices that well yet, except for some. But yeah, the hair and the glasses. I like the glasses look in general on characters, so I definitely prefer that. I prefer the glasses, and on her specifically, I prefer the long-haired look as well. So just as a whole, I like the old look. This one is new, so it'll take some getting used to, and I'm sure I will. Maybe the glasses will come back, maybe the hair will change again, who knows, but it's different, it's interesting, so we'll see. It was definitely a surprise. I did, like I said in the reaction, I didn't even register the glasses at first. I was so focused on the hair. Like, oh, something else is missing too. Something else is weird here. Oh yeah, the glasses. She looked like a totally different person, which was incredibly surprising. And then we have our whole Shinobu scene. Very naked. Both of them naked for like the majority of the episode. You've even got nipples in there a little bit sometimes. We get more information about the plot of the arc, what Karin has been affected by, this hornet oddity that has made her sick. So we're back to that, which is cool. Back to sort of the formula that I had a little break from with Kizu, but back to having an arc focused on a girl who has an issue and Araragi's got to help her. This time it's just his own sister. So of course, they investigated these charms. Hanekawa had been helping them on and off with this, which is pretty cool. I like that she's been involved there. Karin kind of got a little ahead of herself here without Hanekawa's help and got affected by this. So I can't wait to see more of this guy, Kaikki, why he has been spreading these charms, what his deal is, what his motivations are. Like they mentioned, the other charms have had effects as well. They just didn't know about it because they weren't as severe as Sengoku's was. But they have actually worked in certain ways. So this guy does know what he's doing. Like, obviously, he has information about oddities. He had that little scene outside of Kanbaru's house where he knew about her mother's family and was like, oh, I guess I don't have to do anything. So clearly he knows what he's talking about. He's not just strictly some swindler con artist. There was a good discussion that they had about him actually being a specialist and a con artist alongside that. With the sisters in this episode, I loved Tsukihi's little scene coming into the bath. That was really funny. This pretty typical anime joke of just them walking in on some people naked. But I didn't expect the punchline when she left. Like, hey, what could her reaction be? There's so many possibilities. Freak out, rage, assault, what's going to happen here? For her to just close the door and leave builds it up even more. Okay, then what? That can't just be it. Maybe it will be. Maybe that'll be the payoff to the joke. But what else? Is she going to have some freak out later? Are we going to see her outside in tears and horrified for her to just come back with a knife and a lid to defend herself? Was pretty funny. And just seeing Karin being sick while putting on the brave face, Araragi's interactions with them, Hanekawa talking about their relationship and teasing him, as everybody does. Araragi trying to have some kind of serious conversation while being sidetracked by some girl trying to tease him is just everyday life, and it doesn't really get old. But yeah, like, of course he gets a little worked up around them, like he cares. They're his sisters. But yeah, the whole Chan thing, Karin-chan and Tsukihi-chan, that was fun. Those little interruptions in the dialogue, those little extra bits of flavor that make it really funny. I like all that. But yeah, we have this scene with Hanekawa talking about what she's been doing and how she called Senjogahara, and what she had said on the phone was that she will tell Araragi that she is in love with him. I love first of all, that she was able to figure out so quickly, like, what was going on. It's like, well, since you didn't pick up your phone, I figured this is probably what was happening. You could just assume that Senjogahara would do such a thing, so, yeah. But then going back and looking at the end of episode 3 again with Senjogahara's reaction to what was being said on the phone, now that we know what Hanekawa actually said, that puts that in a whole new context and is really interesting. Just saying, hey, I'll tell Araragi my true feelings. She really reacted to that strongly, looking back at the ending of the last episode. She really changed her tune very quickly and was like, no, that's not what we agreed on. Okay, yes, I understand. All right. She kind of became very meek and like passive in certain ways. Like, clearly she feels inferior to Hanekawa in certain ways and worries about that. She's, like I said, totally changed from how she had just been acting around him before. This, I don't know if facade is the right word, of being in control and being like, if you sleep with anyone else, I'll kill her and kill you and kill Kanbaru, and acting like she's on top all the time. But she actually really is worried when it comes to Hanekawa. And her boobs were definitely way bigger in Kizu, Hanekawa's. I was commenting on that a lot throughout those movies, especially in the third one, during one scene in particular. But yeah, they really exaggerated those in Kizu, which worked really well with that art style and that scene and everything that was going on there, and how much focus she had as a character, especially after watching those movies and seeing so much of Hanekawa having the different appearance with the short hair and no glasses is quite alarming. But yeah, I can't wait to see where this is going to go. We've got to focus on fixing Karen. It's interesting not to have Oshino as somebody that we can just go to for the answer, since he's not around anymore. We've got to figure out what to do, and then we've got this bigger looming threat of Kaikki, which might be resolved by the end of the show, might extend past it into another thing, because we've got Karen's arc right now, and I assume we'll have some stuff with Tsukiki as well, so we might just have individual issues to resolve with them, and then actually dealing with Kaikki in any greater sense might be for another series later on. I don't know how they'll do it, but, just giving them this advice on what it means to be defenders of justice and how you've got to be strong, and that's more important than being right. You have to actually have justice prevail, and for that to happen, you've got to be strong. Basically, like, the way he worded it kind of sounds like, history is written by the victors. The people who are strong prevail and thus declare themselves to be justice, and that's what you've got to be. You've got to be strong. And he's also saying that about himself, that he needs to be stronger, and it's also probably just a way to protect them, like telling them to get stronger. They're too weak and they need to do better, because he worries for them. And we've got Shinobu. This is a big part of the episode. It's interesting to see her here. If you just watched Bake and not Kizu and then went into this, it would be really jarring to see Shinobu have a long conversation, because she didn't say anything in Bake. It's more understandable after Kizu. Still really surprising though, just because outside of that, in her little lolly form, I didn't expect it so soon. But to know that she's actually been putting a lot of thought into this over time, and then coming to these conclusions, and then deciding to come out here and talk to Araragi like this, is really cool. And personally, I really like the fact that I watched Kizu already, because I like having context for this. The reason I care about this whole scene, which is almost the whole episode, it felt like anyway, and Shinobu and their relationship, like, the reason I cared about anything that they were saying is because I know what they've been through together. Like, I care about Shinobu and I care about their relationship, and that's because I watched Kizu. A lot of the things, I haven't seen all of Monogatari, so I can't say for sure, but when people were debating, like, should you watch Kizu now or later, one big thing that I heard is that watching it later adds more mystery. And that would obviously be the case, because you would have less information about what happened before. I just don't really see a need for that. I don't know why you need this sense of mystery, especially when it's kind of like a false mystery. Of course, if you were watching the show as it came out, you had no choice. But now, choosing to not watch Kizu when you can, just for the purpose of creating mystery where there otherwise wouldn't be any is a little weird to me. I personally, like, I don't need that. I don't need some weird sense of mystery, like, to theorize about, like, ooh, what exactly happened between her and Araragi? Like, what does she mean by this? Like, I like knowing what happened because now I care, you know? Like, it'd be a neat little scene and it'd be entertaining and mysterious, but that's where it would end. Like, yeah, okay, interesting, something to think about, but I'd much rather have a scene that I care about because I have context. And there's also value in different watches. You could, your first time through, watch Kizu later, so you have the mystery in scenes like this, and then of course later rewatch the show with all of the knowledge, and then this has a whole new context. But it's going to take me long enough to go through all of Monogatari as it is. When am I ever going to get around to rewatching the whole thing? Not for a long time. So, I like being able to watch this scene having the context of Kizu. You know, like, if I wanted to read One Piece and start at chapter 500, I guess I could. And I'd be like, wow, how did all of these people join Luffy's crew? I can't wait to find out. It's so mysterious. I can theorize about what all of their arcs must have been like. And then I'll go back from chapter 1 and see how they all joined the crew. But, like, why would I do that? Like, I'd rather just experience the story and know so that I care. But yeah, there's again, I understand multiple interpretations, multiple ways you might want to watch, and people would value different things, and that's just how I'm viewing it personally for me and my own enjoyment as of right now. So I'd like to know what order you watched it in, and if you think that was the best order, if you value the mystery, or if you value knowing, and what else about the order you may value without spoiling anything that hasn't happened yet, because like I said, there may be other reasons people value watching Kizu later. I can't say, because I'm not that far in. But there's also a lot to be said about fan service, which is a touchy word in general because it's used in so many different ways. Some people would take fan service and just apply it to nudity or sexual situations in general. Of course, you've got fan service used in other ways as well, just in, like, if you've got, like, like the movie Dr. Sleep just recently came out, which is a sequel to The Shining, and so if you've got callbacks and references to The Shining, people would call those fan service, things that, you know, will please the fans of the franchise. And then specifically in the category of nudity and sexualized things, like, there are some instances where those aren't necessarily the same thing, where there's nudity, but it's not really sexualized in the way certain fan service scenes might be, and some people will just lump it all together as fan service, some people will make the distinctions. It's kind of a messy word. So, I mean, here, it is pretty different now that I think about it. As I was watching it, I was just very absorbed in the dialogue, not even thinking about the nudity that much on any kind of deeper level, other than just being funny. Like, they've just been in the bath for the entire episode. That's kind of funny. They've just been naked this whole time. And you get some attention drawn to it, occasionally. Like when she's like, oh, what are you looking at? What if I just shrieked? What would that do? Just teasing him, as always, and that's entertaining. But for the most part, there's little attention called to it. And a lot of the time, you really get those close-ups on people like Hanekawa, on her boobs and on her thighs and all that. You got that in this episode, even when she's just, like, walking to his bedroom. You get those close-ups because that's where he's always looking and what he's always focused on with somebody like her. And you didn't really get a lot of that with Shinobu until she specifically pointed it out, and at that point, he can't really help but notice. And I don't think it was so much of an arousal thing as just, like, a genuine embarrassment type thing. But yeah, I don't know if I can say it's not fan service, but again, how you want to use that word is really messy, and that's not the important part here. But I can't pretend that at least one of the goals here was not titillating an audience. You know, clearly one intention here was some people are going to want to jerk off to the lolly. So, clearly. And whether that's like a conscious intent behind the creation, or whether that's just an unavoidable consequence of its existence, either way, they were definitely cognizant of it when making it. Whether they made it at all for that reason, or just had to acknowledge that that would be one way people would enjoy it. They definitely knew. That's definitely a part of it. But there is also more than that. You know, it's not completely inherently sexual. There are scenes that are way more sexual, like the Kizu scene with the boob fondling. Was a little uncomfortable, not in a bad way, mostly just because I'm doing reactions. So I'm watching it alongside other people, and that just makes it a little odd, and it's like, I wonder how people are going to feel about this watching alongside me. And then again with some of the Kanbaru fan service, which was really hot. Here, I wasn't really thinking that. I wasn't thinking like, oh yeah, this is really hot, and oh yeah, this is really awkward and uncomfortable. Thinking back on it, it's interesting how I had such different feelings about it, even though they were both naked and in the bath together the entire time. It wasn't presented as straightforwardly sexual as many other scenes. And that's kind of interesting, that nudity doesn't have to inherently mean that, and it can be kind of a good storytelling mechanism too, because as they're like speaking honestly to each other and opening up, they're just completely naked and exposed, and so there's meaning behind that. So yeah, there's just a lot of debate to be had there about what fan service is, and there's really no point into getting into nitty-gritty, nitpicky definitions of that when we can just focus on the substance of the content itself and how you feel about that, regardless of whether you want to use the word fan service, how you feel about the scene as a whole and how it's presented. And we were talking about this on Discord recently, about how usually people fall into extremes, not just with Monogatari, but with a lot of things. New things come out, and, you know, a new movie or a new game, and this is the greatest game of all time, it's a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, or this is the worst game I've ever played, it's a disgrace to humanity, 0 out of 10, and it's like, it's probably no, neither. Like, you guys need to calm down. It's probably like a 7. It's probably fine. Or maybe it's like a 4 and it's kind of bad, but it's not like horrible. People tend to go to extremes with a lot of things. And those are various things that I've heard about Monogatari over the years as well. I've heard like, Monogatari uses fan service and nudity in the most artful way of all time and transcends all other anime. And then I've heard like, Monogatari is just generic harem fan service trash like every other anime, and it's like, no. I mean, I'm gonna have to land in the middle. Obviously, I love this series. I thought Bake and Kizu were fantastic shows, and I do think the way it uses fan service is good, and I enjoy it, and I think it is better than a lot of shows, but I don't think it's this, like, unbelievably deep, unable to be comprehended masterclass of art in terms of the fan service, the nudity in general. It's good. You know, I don't think you need to go to the extremes. Now, the show in general, the franchise in general, has become one of my favorites. And as a whole, then yeah, I'll say Monogatari is fantastic. You could say a masterpiece, a great work of art, for sure. I'm just talking about like the nudity and the way people are generally hyperbolic, one way or the other, about various things when maybe it's not as big of a deal as some people may make it out to be. But yeah, her offering to have him drink from her, kill her for his sake, still willing to die for that. And the conversation about his lifespan is really interesting, because I never thought of that. He seems to not have either, because he's mostly human now. So I'd think, okay, if he won't have just a basic human lifespan, maybe it'd be a little longer. If he's like a 10th vampire, maybe he'll live like 10-ish years longer than average. Maybe he'll live to like the peak of what humans ever have, like 110, 120, something like that, and then a little bit longer, 10 or so years. Crazy, but not like unbelievably impossible. But it's interesting to think about, because his regeneration is one of the things that has stuck from his vampirism. So because of that, maybe a long lifespan will come along with that. And I don't know if that question will ever be directly answered. I think the only way it would be is to see further into the future, and I don't know what kind of time span the whole franchise covers. So if we see like 10 years later and he still looks exactly the same, well, then that would be pretty telling. But even if it shows him aging, it doesn't necessarily tell us how long he'll live, and we really don't know. But it's a scary thought of everybody that you care about around you dying while you live on and not knowing how long you're going to live. But he has a good response for now, that people live until they die. Yes, people die when they are killed, don't you know? But yeah, talked for a while about the nudity and watch order and all that stuff, but like I said, good conversation as well, acknowledging that they can't forgive each other, but she'll cooperate. And I had questioned at the end of Bake whether she literally lived in his shadow, whatever that means, or if she could move through shadows and just appeared through his at that time. From what it seems, from what she's saying here, she lives in his shadow. That's how it came across, from what I could tell here. I also really liked her digging on Oshino and his long-winded rants and how she couldn't help but hear about all these oddities from him. It's an interesting way to get the information since he's not around anymore. She was always there, so of course she would have overheard some of this. I kind of wish it could have been done in a different way, just because Oshino being gone is a pretty big difference from Bake, so you could really do a lot with that and really have Araragi have to try to come across this information in some other way, have to try hard to go out of his way to get this information, and having it come from Shinobu is kind of the easy way out, but I don't mind it. Part of me just thinks I'd like to see an alternate version where that happened, just to see what that would be like, but I'm perfectly fine with Shinobu giving the information. It makes sense, and I don't even know what you could possibly do to try to find the information elsewhere, and if that would even be feasible, so I'm perfectly fine with the way that it happened, and I like that. I liked her talking about Oshino and everything, so yeah, just a great getting to see her like this and what she's going to be like for now going forward. I'm interested in this Kaikki fellow, what's going on with him, what his goals are, how deep he's into this world of oddities, how much he knows, how much he's capable of. What did she say? The counterfeit often rings truer than the real. Something like that. So, in Senjugahara's case, was he really just not able to do anything? Did he not know what to do? Did he choose not to do it? Did he just choose to swindle them out of their money? How much does he know? How much can he actually do? I want to see more of the guy. I kind of expected to see a little bit more here, but we got sidetracked with a bath. But that was all fine too. And that little laugh of hers, was that ever a thing that she did before? It stood out a lot more here, if so, that caca that she does. That was kind of cute. I guess that's her thing. Maybe that's new. Certainly seemed like it, but yeah. Just a fun little episode, getting to see Shinobu again. It's interesting thinking about the differences related to watch order, although, that's also kind of annoying because it's I just want to experience the story and I want to talk about the story, and I feel bad at ever getting sidetracked with things like watch order when it's let's just talk about the actual content here. Let's talk about our story and our characters and how we feel about them. But I can't deny that it is an aspect of the franchise, and it is a way that people experience the story differently. So it is something to talk about, and it's kind of interesting to hear. So yeah, there's that. There's the whole discussion on nudity, and this probably went on for a while. How long we've been going here? We're going to wrap it up now. Thank you for watching. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll talk about it some more. Subscribe to the channel. Check out all the stuff linked down in the description below, like Patreon. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time.